When the courtroom doors closed on the state's case, one voice refused to be silenced. Advocate Charles Mnisi Sharp, relentless and unshaken, stood his ground as Beloyd tried to wrap up proceedings. But Mnisi wasn't just defending his client. He was defending the integrity of the trial itself. This video captures Mnisi's refusal to back down, even as Beloyd attempts to shut down further inquiry. It sets the tone for a legal standoff that's anything but over. "What's going on?" Advocate Mnisi questions. Anis's pointed questions about missing AVL footage and procedural gaps show his commitment to transparency and justice. This isn't just courtroom drama, it's a battle for truth. And Mnisi, he's not playing defense, he's rewriting the rules. At least Beloyd gave a green light to the defense to call all witnesses who were on the state witness list but not called. A very good move indeed. All we want is justice for Senzo. Which witnesses do you think, if called by the defense, will bring justice for Senzo? Should long be brought to court instead of the footage of him? Here is a video of Advocate Mnisi standing his ground. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button and kindly subscribe to Skybridge for the full breakdown, because justice doesn't end when the state rests its case. More drama is coming, and be ready for it. I'll see you on my next upload. Bye.
And on that point, my lord, that concludes the leading of the evidence for the state.
Okay.
And we close the state case. It's precisely 3 years since the state started leading evidence, and the state now formally closes its case.
State case closed. Yes.
Thought I would have brought the following to the attention of the court even before the state closes its case. Number one, it relates to the video clip that Mr. Bailey had to come and give his testimony on. That video clip has already been admitted as evidence before court, and it was on the proviso that Mr. Bailey would come and authenticate it. Now, the court has been told yesterday in no uncertain terms that Mr. Bailey is no longer available to come and testify, and not because he's dead, but because of the agreement that the state and SANEF, South African National Editors Forum, an institution that Mr. Bailey belongs to, that he should no longer come testify because Mr. Bailey and company indicated that if he were to be forced and dragged, come to court, come testify, they will bring an agent application to bar the state from forcing him to come testify because of the standing agreement between SANEF and the National Prosecuting Authority of South Africa. So as we stand now, or as things stand now, and as at this point in time, that video clip remains unauthenticated. I thought to myself that, and in fact Mr. Bailey had indicated in an affidavit that was read into record here, where he says that when this whole thing was taken, when this video was taken, I wasn't party there too, I was in China. So I don't know who took it, when was it taken. I only got requested to provide, as a head, to provide a recording of a video that was aired on the 27th of October 2014, which I did. But as to the finer details and the integrities around that video, I don't know nothing. So if the state proceeds to force me to come testify, I will have no option but to challenge the legality, and that is what the state was avoiding in that agent application. The legality of Section 179 of the Criminal Procedure Act that seeks to deal with the subpoenaing of journalists to come and give information where the state seeks to use the content of their information. But fast forward, my lord, we are saying it's not like all the state avenues have been exhausted. Well, I do not intend to prescribe how should the state proceed with their case or drive their case. But Mr. Longwe is there. If they still want to pursue that video, they can simply say to the defense, no, don't worry, our avenues are not exhausted. Mr. Longwe, who's depicted in that video, is there, he's still alive. He can come himself and authenticate that video. But it seems to me like the state is not amenable to follow that route. So that video being part of this record, my lord, and not being authenticated as promised by the state in the manner in which it should have no longer be regarded as something that is actually part of the record. I'm not saying that it must be withdrawn. In other words, it's just a pronoun scripto. It's regarded as not being existing. That was just point number one, my lord. Now, point number two, on number of occasions, Mr. Sibia has been requesting that certain information, actually the records regarding the movement of the motor vehicles that were used on the day on which he got arrested should be made available to him. I must be honest to the state, they made some endeavors to identify certain motor vehicle. There was a hard body that was involved there. They gave an explanation about the hard body that ultimately was involved in an accident wherein Mr. Mapena passed on. There was a Golf 7. There was also an explanation regarding or around that Golf 7 that it was not fitted with an AVL gadget. There was a hatchback. I think there was also a BMW that was driven by Mr. Buthelezi from Ekurhuleni Metropolis. There was an explanation from Ekurhuleni Police that motor vehicles from Ekurhuleni Police were not fitted then with AVL records. Much against what there's a gentleman used to sit there. Much against what Mr. Listering said, that yes, they are indeed fitted, but we're talking in 2020 when Mr. Sibia was arrested. But that's an affidavit that we received from Ekurhuleni Metropolis to the effect that their motor vehicles are not fitted with AVL gadgets. Now, Mr. Sibia keeps on hammering on a Qashqai, a silver Qashqai motor vehicle, and he consistently maintained that it was driven by Mr. Ngamani. Ngamani, I think it's a term of Mr. Masego, but he says they used to call him Ngamani, even the investigating team itself referred to him as Ngamani. We have got no explanation on the request relating to this Qashqai motor vehicle, my lord. And there is also a Ford Ranger that was allegedly also involved when he got arrested. And it was driven by a gentleman known as Bongani Yende. We haven't got an explanation on whether or not we ultimately received the AVL records relating to this motor vehicles, my lord. May I again confirm with Mr. Sibia if there's something that I'm missing, my lord, so that I also place it on record, my lord. Thank you. Thank you, my lord, for the indulgence. Yes, the information that I've placed on record is accurate. That Ford Ranger that I'm saying was used by Bongani Yende. Bongani Yende was also a member of the South African Police Services, my lord. And the reason why we are requesting this information, my lord, we are well aware that the state has got no obligation to assist the accused in the conduct of his defense. State cannot get out of his way and go out and get information in favor of the accused and say, accused, this information, you can come and challenge our assertion against you therewith. But this information is different, my lord. It is information that is in the domain of the South African police services. There is nowhere else where we can go and request this information but from the police themselves. So we constrained because we cannot go to people and say, can you please give us this information? The only people from which this information should be received and must come from, if this information is available, are members of the South African Police Services, which is the reason why we're requesting the state to kindly furnish us with this information if they are able. If they are not able, then they are not able, my lord. That was point number 2. Now, point number 3, my lord. Now that the state has closed its case, normally at this point in time, the defense has got options. It either says, we are going to testify, or we want to bring an application in terms of Section 174 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Now, we had a when I say we, I'm speaking on behalf of accused number 1 and 3. We spoke to the Legal Aid South Africa just a second, my lord. There's something that I need to clear with my colleagues.
Just have a word with my colleague now.
Thank you.
What's happening? Mr. Meyiwa, have you closed your case?
Yes.
Yes, indeed, my lord.
What does the law say? Once you've closed your case?
Well, once we've closed our case, then that is the turn of the defense to present their case. And they have various options as far as that is concerned, my lord.
Another point that I would need clarity on. The state had been indicating in the course of the leading of its evidence that it would not be calling certain witnesses. Those witnesses will be made available to the defense. Now, I want to actually, this is just a re-emphasis that from this point onward, in other words, henceforth, the defense is now in liberty to consult with whoever's name appears in the list of the state witnesses if circumstances were to arise. I just want to confirm if my understanding in that regard is correct, my lord.
As a court, my lord, the law is very clear that any witnesses who is not called by the state is at the disposal of the defense, and that will obtain here. We make all witnesses that haven't been called we make them available to the disposal of the defense, my lord.